Okay, so right now I have my Panasonic G9. As I promised, I'm going to do a motion lapse, and I'm going to start off with using the autofocus continuous mode in order to shoot the motion lapse. You can see today's sky is quite nice. It's a nice skyline among the trees. So I'm going to shoot a motion lapse among the trees and the skyline, and I'm going to show you that shooting a motion lapse on a micro four thirds camera, even though I'm using a Sigma 16mm f1.4, which is the fastest aperture lens that I have, I'm going to show you that using autofocus continuous to shoot a motion lapse isn't going to work very well. So we need to use the manual focus setting, which I'm going to show you that I'm going to use the electronic pull focus wheel in order to shoot, and I'll show you the differences between the two motion lapses, and we'll see which one of the motion lapses turned out better. So let's get to the video. Okay, so right now I'm gonna shoot the motion lapse in autofocus mode on my Panasonic G9 first, and right now Edward's gonna show us something cool because his Canon EOS RP setup on the DJI Ronin S is not yet compatible. He is still waiting for DJI to come up with a firmware update to include the Canon EOS RP to work on the DJI Ronin S, so that he can use things like motion lapse and the record button and the electronic pull wheel. So you managed to do a hack in order to get motion lapse to work. So
I found out this way, while Charles is actually trying to set up his motion lapse. Alright, so there is actually two methods. Alright, first I'll set the motion lapse on the gimbal. Alright, if you see the setup, it is actually exactly as what Charles has set up a moment ago. While on my camera, I will set up a time lapse. So this is how it works. I'll start recording on the camera. If I start to preview, you can see that the gimbal movement is actually exactly the same as this. What's important is the angle and actually the motion, because this interval is set up in the camera itself.
Okay, for his time-lapse function is on the Canon EOS RP itself. Mine is directly from the DJI Ronin. So right now we're going to put exact same settings.
Let me look at my camera settings. Okay, so custom shot, 5 seconds. You can shoot for how long?
5 seconds, content duration 8.
Okay, I choose
16 minutes.
192. 15 minutes. Okay, so we got the same 5-second interval. Total number of shots 192. Total run 15 minutes 55 seconds.
I think around there. My 16 minutes.
Alright,
so this will be a motion lapse battle between a full frame camera against a micro four thirds camera, but I am using a wider, faster aperture lens. His is the f4 lens, but still difference in sensor size would be key. You shooting in autofocus or manual?
Auto.
Okay, both of us will be shooting in autofocus continuous. I'm just going to show you at the same time which has the better autofocus system, Canon with its dual pixel IS and Panasonic with its contrast based autofocus. For me personally, although I'm a Panasonic user, I believe that the Canon's dual IS autofocus is pretty good, almost as good as the Sony's face detection autofocus. Sony's is the best autofocus. Okay, so here we are at the park, and we've shifted to this location here, and the lights over there have turned off. I'm using my Sony to record, but the motion lapse will only snap a photograph when the image is in focus. So because Panasonic's contrast based autofocus system isn't very good, hence the previous time when I did this, a lot of photos weren't taken, but the motion lapse will still move itself. So there's like one photograph here, and then blank, 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 because the photos were not in focus. Then suddenly when the photo comes into focus, the motion lapse snaps a photograph, and then blank, 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 blank again. So I'm gonna press, and I'm gonna record. You see that? If it's not in focus, it won't take a photograph. So only when it's in focus, then it will take a photograph. Okay, so it's not focusing on the sky, so I think I need to switch to focus on the tree line as well. And actually it is working at the moment. Okay, skip that. It took that picture, so I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna change my autofocus to one area. Okay. and I will now select the trees as the skyline as the focus, and then I'm going to press set, and then yep, so I've also changed my autofocus position to the trees, so it's set in continuous autofocus. So let's test it out again while Edward is setting up.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Okay, started.
Started. Okay, let's press start. Okay, so that's snap photo. Yours working?
I don't know how to autofocus properly.
It's less focus hunting now and more photographs being taken once you set the autofocus point on the trees instead of the sky. So let's check out Edward's, also at 4%. Alright, so both of it is working pretty well. We're gonna come back and show you the end product of our motion lapse. Okay, so we're done. So Edward using his time-lapse feature. Let's take a look. Here's his video mode, and he pieced it all together. Look at that, awesome. Wow, cool. So 6 seconds of brilliance there by the Canon camera. For mine is individual photographs, so I only can go home and piece all the images together, and then I'll show you the end product. So let's check out the video. So now we are in manual focus mode, going for a time lapse, and you can see I'm using the pull electronic focus. You can see that the trees are blue, means that that is in focus. So you can also shift your point to wherever you want. So as long as you see that it's blue, see, if it's out of focus, you will not see that blue lines there. When it is in focus, the blue lines should appear. So the blue lines appear on the trees, so that means the trees are in focus. So that's how you use the pull focus wheel on your DJI Ronin. I'm going to press the start button, and we'll see whether or not just now when we were shooting in autofocus mode compared to right now we're in manual focus mode, whether which video end product looks better. Alright, so basically you can see the Panasonic G9 did suffer a lot during the autofocus continuous motion lapse due to the well-known fact that being a micro four thirds sensor camera, you are gonna suffer a lot in low light. Second of all, the Panasonic G9 is using a contrast-based autofocus system, which is also pretty well known not to be very fast and very accurate as compared to the other focus systems such as the Canon's dual pixel autofocus system and the Sony's face detection autofocus system. So a bit disappointed that even in Panasonic's new full frame cameras, the S1 and the S1R are still using the contrast based autofocus system. I really wanted to get the S1, however when I saw that they were still using the contrast based autofocus system, I decided to hold off for a while, and I'm waiting for the specs for the Sony a7S III. So pretty exciting. So in summary, I guess you can easily tell that shooting a motion lapse on a micro four thirds camera or a Panasonic camera in low light or in nighttime, it's much better to use manual focus mode instead of the autofocus continuous mode. So, and then you did see the comparison with the Canon EOS RP as well, which is Canon's new full frame camera. So night shots, they are going to be much better, and the autofocus system of the Canon EOS RP is definitely better than the Panasonic G9. But I think shooting in manual focus, the clip did come out really well. I am going out to do a motion lapse again on the Panasonic G9 G9 and change a few settings, and then I'm gonna show you that in a couple of days time. But first of all, I will be sticking to manual focus mode because that works. However, I am going to fix my ISO because in the motion lapse that you just saw, I was shooting at f1.4, but I was shooting on auto ISO. So my next motion lapse, probably I'm gonna shoot still at f1.4 in manual focus mode, but I'm going to probably use ISO 5600 or ISO 12800 if it doesn't get too grainy. Second of all, I'm gonna change my raw pictures ratio to 16:9 instead of 4:3. You can see the two black sides on the screen, which is pretty annoying. I'm gonna change it to 16:9 ratio instead. So thanks guys for watching. Check out the next clip where I will be going back to the Sony a6500 and I will be showing you how to connect your DJI Ronin SC to your Sony a6500, and also we're gonna be doing a motion lapse on the Sony a6500 with also the same lens that we shot the Panasonic G9's motion lapse, the Sigma 16mm f1.4, which has been the best lens on my Sony a6500 by far. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you liked this video. Please subscribe, hit the alerts button for my new upcoming videos, and hit the like button, and peace.